Well, hello everyone, it's me, Siân. This is my first attempt at doing a live stream. Well, actually, it's not quite. I tried to do it yesterday, and silly me, I had left my camera on and my battery went boop right at the point at which I started my live stream. So today I wanted to give you an instructional on 4K long wear cream and doing a nude skin beauty makeup. So many of you have said to me that they understand how to pack it on, but they really don't get how you can get such translucency with 4K long wear cream. It's very, very easy to do. It's a very multifunctional product. You literally can take it from 100% opacity down to a 98% translucency. It all depends what you mix it with, how you mix it, and what you want it for, what you want the finished result for. So I'm going to start off today by showing you how I do a very simple beauty makeup for myself or for an actor. I'm not talking about methodology and mixing palettes. That's a whole other class. I'm merely showing you today how you're going to get long wear cream to work for you. Now, after this, because I'm not looking at messages, I'm not looking at posts, but after this, I will go live again for a Q&A. So if you've got any questions, write them down and we can figure it out later. But for now, this is just purely demo and I'm going to talk you through it, okay? So on my skin, I have nothing else on other than a bit of eye cream and a bit of serum that I put on about 2 hours ago. And one of the easiest ways to work with long wear cream for a dewy beauty makeup is to use Marvelous Moisturizer. I made it for this purpose. It's a brilliant moisturizer on its own, but aside from that, Marvelous Moisturizer really is marvelous. It combines beautifully with long wear cream. I've mixed it in the palette. There are demos of me showing that method. Today, I want to show you how I'm going to apply it to my face, maybe in 2 stages actually. It all depends how my skin feels afterwards. So I'm going to take a little blob on my fingers and I'm just going to press it in all around. And the reason I'm including the neck is because, of course, when you do a beauty makeup, you include the neck, right? I mean, that's just a standard. So I'm pressing it in, especially around the eyes. You don't necessarily want to drag it too much, and you tap, 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 and take it all the way into the temples. I always moisturize underneath the ears and really just feel it in. Now, whilst I'm talking to you, I want to see how that settles into my skin, because when you're working on your talent, you'll have time, you'll be cleaning things up or you'll be working with a brush. I do apply, when I'm working with an actor, I always apply moisturizer with my number number 11. My Queen foundation, because I don't go around touching other people's faces. And in the climate that we're going to be stepping into, we really need to adopt a different methodology. But I have applied foundation to my actor's face probably for about 20 years now. And the reason that I did that is because my esthetician in London used to do this beautiful facial massage with sable brushes. She'd have 2 of them as part of my skincare routine when I used to see her. And putting the moisturizer on with a brush was such a luxurious and beautiful feeling. And so I've incorporated that into my makeup. So yes, apply foundation to your actor with a brush. You don't want to put your hands on his face, and you're probably going to be wearing gloves in the future, so use a brush. You can wash them clean and you can sanitize them and keep them clean. And a natural hairbrush wins over a synthetic any day of the week, even for hygiene now. So that's another class as well. So I'm feeling my skin. I think I want to put just a little bit more on, because although it feels good, I want it to feel really good with the foundation. So I'm going to take just a little bit more and pop it into the areas where I want it most, around here. These are always the driest areas. We touch our face the most here. We don't need to focus on the T-zone because, of course, that produces a lot more sebum anyway. We just need to literally, I'm going to rub the rest off on the back of my hands and let it sink in again. So that was Marvelous Moisturizer. I'm going to do that up. That's done now. We're finished with it. Now, in terms of mixing a colour for my skin, I'm going to be using my refills. Okay, I have a bunch of refills that I made. I'm taking some from my Ether palette. Okay, and what I'm going to be using is a little bit of Golden Caramel, a little bit of Coral Buff, and possibly a little bit of wheat. But I'm going to mix them. This is wheat. I'm going to mix them. Now, ordinarily, we'd be mixing on palettes and things like that. As I said, it's another class, but it's me. It's my face. Oh, that feels really good. I love Marvelous Moisturizer. It smells so good and it really feels nice on the skin. You don't feel like you've got a big sticky moisturizer on your skin. Oh yes, one thing I must say about using a moisturizer and combining it with longwear cream. Okay, so when you're choosing the types of moisturizer, I mean, clearly I hope you choose the one that I've made for it because that makes your life so much easier. But if you're choosing a moisturizer, it's advisable to choose a moisturizer that isn't too watery. Water-based moisturizers tend to go against a silicone cream product. You know, silicone and water doesn't really work, right? Water rolls off silicone. If you think about how when you're making longwear opaque on skin and you do that water test, I've done it on the back of my hand just to see how waterproof it is, the water just rolls off. Water and silicone do not combine. So what I recommend is something a little bit creamier, a little bit more emollient, a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more like Marvelous Moisturizer. How about that? Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my number 10, all natural fibre hair I'm using for a very good reason. When it's dry, there's no bacteria on hair ever because bacteria can only survive in an anaerobic damp environment. When natural hair dries, it is bone dry. So as long as you keep it clean and as long as you keep it in things like these, you will protect your brushes. Okay, so I'm going to take my handy mirror and I'm actually going to start with wheat. And yeah, let me do this. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to go lighter first. And obviously, you go from light to dark. You can build in the rest of the structure of the face, but this is basically what I'm doing. So I'm putting very, very little on the brush. Can you see? There's hardly any there. Never overload the brush. You can always add more. You know, you really don't need to coat it and coat it and coat it. So I'm just going to circular motions, working it into my skin. Taking it around, keeping the brush moving, blending it in. You can always tap, 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 tap. Don't feel afraid to touch your own skin, okay? And if your actor or your client is okay with you doing that, moving into the new world that we're going to be inhabiting, then so be it. You can always build up. That's the beauty of longwear. It is totally buildable and you can still get a translucent look. So let's do this side now. And the reason that you want a cream with some, a moisturizer with some substance is that it will grab onto the longwear and mix with it rather than thin it out too much. If you've got oil on your face, forget it. You're going to have a beautiful sheer finish, but it won't stay. You know, you've got to have something that works in simpatico with the product. Okay. Okay, so we keep going around and around. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't just slap it on and then I'm done. I find that I keep going back into my work, right? So it's really important to go little by little. Here too. Can always go back over those. Look, good bit of sun damage there. You know, for me, I really love seeing skin. I don't want to cover it up. I like the truth and the honesty and the beauty of real skin. It's something that I guess runs in my family. The women in my family don't put on a lot of makeup. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking wearing a full face at all. Everything has its place. I love doing a great eye or a strong lip or a beautiful cheek and having it a little bit more powerful. But everything in its place, you know, there's a place for everything. And I feel like I don't always want to look the same every single day, like a carbon cutout and a stamp. So everything for me is about the honesty of skin. Skin is your barometer. It tells people who you are, what sort of lifestyle you live. If you've got a lot of sun damage, obviously you're out in the sun a lot. If it's very thick and oily, you can tell diet, because it does show what you eat, what you drink, if you smoke. Your skin tells everything to everyone. And for those who know, then they look at it and they can see who you are. And I like people to see me just for who I am. I have nothing to hide. Unless it's a big zit sometimes. Okay, so by now, I'm hoping that this is not looking too horrific. Okay. It's very pale though, right? So what I want to do now is I'm going to make a wash of colour using this little beauty. This is where Schmicks comes in absolutely magnificently. It's perfect for making a velvet moisturizer. A velvet foundation. But if you then want to go in and do a lovely translucent veil, that is when Schmicks is wonderful. So I am going to be popping some on the back of my hand. And I'm going to now take my lovely queen, and I am going to mix. Now, which colour shall I mix? Shall I use golden caramel? Yeah, let's mix a little golden caramel. So I'm going to take golden caramel, and I'm going to pop a bit more on the back of my hand like that. Okay, and you can see how dense it is pretty much. So I'm going to shear it right down. Okay, now I'm going to take my trusty mirror and start to put some structure in. And also, please don't forget the underside of the neck. Schmicks is absolutely brilliant for giving yourself a little bit of a tan, see? Don't forget to go all the way back into the ears, behind the ear, all the way down the neck, blend it. And obviously I want to exaggerate the colour a little bit because I really want to show you what you can achieve. A little bit. See the difference, one face and the other? Okay, let's put some more on here. Right the way back. It's a dead giveaway. It is a dead giveaway to and you know, to not go back. And by the way, the beauty of it is as well, you can go all the way down your neck and you don't need to worry that it's going to rub off on your clothes, because it doesn't do that. Oops, I'm blocking you completely. Sorry about that. Okay, so doing that, don't forget round your hairline, okay? Don't forget, it's very important. I like to give a little swoop over the thing here as well, and also over my nose. Now, let's see, how is that looking? Yep, it's pretty good to me. I don't know how it looks to you lot, but it looks pretty good to me. Now, as I'm looking in my trusty mirror that is massively magnified, I can see that I have got a few little blemishes that I need to cover. Let's just do that too. I love this Queen foundation. I can do a whole makeup with this one brush. I mean, I've even held it like this and gone under eyes with it, and you name it, it does everything. It's such a magnificent brush. Okay, so if I'm going to go in and retouch, do a little Photoshop on my face, I'm going to go back with wheat, and I actually think this time I want to mix a little golden caramel. I'm going to take a tiny bit of Schmicks, back of the hand. By the way, it's brilliant makeup for the hands too, just in case you ever have to do hand shoots. This will last all day, and it just looks like velvet. My hands look so much nicer. Look at the difference, one hand and the other. You see that? One is so smooth and the other not. I know which one I prefer. Anyway, okay, so we're going to do a little bit of wheat. And this time, I think, what do I want to mix? Yeah, I do. I want golden caramel. Mix the two. A little bit more wheat than golden caramel, so I just need to readjust. See? Very, very subtle. Okay, I've got my concealer. The brush I'm using for this is Best Kept Secret 2. This is the Cute Concealer. I love this brush. It is cashmere goat hair. It's brilliant for doing concealing with. It's brilliant for doing all sorts of things, actually. Smoky eye too, fabulous. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, so I just want to pop a little bit more on there. Tap, tap, tap. I tend to leave it to sit just for a minute before I tap it. The other reason for stippling is because your whole skin is stipple. You can still get a really beautiful finish without just back and forthing it and painting like you're painting a wall. You know, it's natural finish to have a stipple. Look, I've got a little bit of rosacea there. Let's cover that one. That was the red wine last night. Okay, going back in. You know, spectacles leave marks, remember, check that all the time. Go back into the eyes, take that blueness out, press, press, press. So I mean, it's such a brilliant brush. It just gets into all those little places, and because it's a pyramid shape, it points really, really well. Okay, I like to also work just over this area a little bit more, because for me, I get my redness. I've got my broken veins there, stipple, stipple, stipple. Got my thread veins there. And no, you can't get rid of them because they come back if you sneeze. It's true. Okay, So look, there's a good one there. Let's get rid of that. Gone in a jiffy. And I can go back over and layer it without it looking too much. Do you see how little is on this brush? It is not caked in product. Work minimally, my friends. Work minimally. And I'm still not being slow. So I'm going back over that. Thank you so much for joining me, by the way. I hope you're all well. I hope you are all optimistic, because although there's stuff going on, we are going to overcome it and we will come out the other side. There is a reason that we're here and that we populate the earth, and all will prevail in the end. So thank you for sharing some of your personal time with me. I do appreciate it, and I hope it was worth your while. Okay, look, I've got a few there. Gosh, I really need to get a facial. I'm gonna have to give myself one. Move your face, you know, stretch your face, move it around. Look and see how it works. Look at the muscles. Look at sometimes where you have a little bit of a shadow, right? Ironically enough, I seem to be bluer on one side of my eye than the other. Go figure. I'm going to just take this a little bit up here as well. I do like stippling. That's the artist in me though, I think. Okay. So I think we're pretty good. Have I got any big blemishes on my forehead? I don't think so, right? Nope. Just go back over that. Correct the chin. You can also do this highlighting and shading. You know, you can totally lift a face by how you elevate in the corners and then reshape and restructure with highlight and shade. Okay, there's little broken veins. I've never managed to get rid of those. Okay, so I think you've got the idea, right? Jolly good. But it still looks like skin. It doesn't look like a mask. And that is hardly anything going on my face, but just making use of it and just layering where you need to. So you don't have to keep going over and over and over, okay? So I'm going to put away that little cutie patootie. And I'm going to, ooh, actually I'm not. I think I'm going to use it to itch my nose. Ooh, okay. My next goal is to show you how to mix a cheek colour. And I haven't got my Serenity palette here. Serenity is actually a beautiful, beautiful palette of nudes. You guys asked me for a long wear cream version of my nudism lip wear palette. And so I made Serenity. And it is glorious for doing a nude beauty makeup. But today I am going to use Ether and Vida, and I'm going to show you how to mix some colours. Now, when I'm mixing a blusher, actually, I do mix it on top of the foundations on the back of my hand. Not because I want the colour to be really chalky, but if I want a really nude skin colour, I want to bring in the elements of a foundation that I've used. And because my foundations in longwear aren't chalky, they're really 50% pigment. There's a heck of a lot of pigment. So I want to combine. So I'm going to take my trusty steed. I'm going to take Schmicks again, add a bit more to the back of my hand. Wait a second. There we go. Okay. And I want to take this little beauty. This is Best Kept Secret 5. I think this is Beautiful Blender. Great little brush actually for so many things. Great for making cheeks, great for doing a little contour, great for doing very soft eyes with. It's a very, very wonderful brush. It washes up beautifully with brush shampoo. I washed it earlier today, and yeah, I really love this brush. So anyway, I am going to take from Ether palette, I'm going to take Soft Mauve. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that, pop it on the back of my hand. Okay, there it is, right? And I also want to take, let's just take a bit of the excess off. I think I want to take today, let's do more of a corally pink. I'm going to take finally have Dusty Mauve from Vida palette. Now, people ask me, how do I keep my palettes clean? I have never given a jot. Okay, there is Dusty Mauve. See? Got a bit more coral to it right down here. And I'm going to mix the two. Can you see? I've never given a jot about waste. It's not waste. I spray all my palettes down with 99% alcohol. I take a tissue and I take off that first layer every time. I do it before and I do it after I finish a job, always. And yes, so what? Some product comes off. Who cares? Your clients are safe. Your palettes are absolutely clean. What have you got to worry about? Okay, so I'm going to have my queen on standby, and I'm just going to take a little bit, very, very lightly, by the way, guys, very lightly, and then I'm going to do this one and use it to blend it into the skin. You see, the reason that I'm doing the double brush is that the best kept secret, the number 5, is applying it and then the queen is double blending it. Now also, don't forget to tap. What I like to do as well is I like to take it up into this area a bit. I don't like the under eyes to be really cold and stark. It's a much softer way of doing it. Let's put the same on the other side, and then I'm going to do another layer. And also what's happening, don't forget, is that it's blending with the foundation underneath. So it's becoming like skin. And it doesn't feel heavy at all, which is so wonderful. In fact, my skin feels really good right now. I should do more of these demos. I don't ever not moisturize, but I definitely took a bit more care of myself today than normal. Okay, let's take a little bit more on the brush. Now I just want to focus here, and blend. Take a bit across the bridge of the nose, always, tip of the nose, none of that, no. That's not natural, that's a painting. I also like to use whatever residual I have and just take it into my eyes, just to give a little bit more depth to my eyes. One final thing, well, 2 final things actually. We're going to put a little bit across the forehead, which I really like. It's like a little bit of sun-kissed. And I like it. I like to look like I've been in the sun. I might not be a sun worshipper and I might not get out as much as I used to, but I sure as hell like the way it looks. I always put a bit on my chin. Blend that in. And I love going a little bit down my throat too, because a flush look is quite sexy. Yeah. Yeah, it's not looking bad, right? So guys, I'm seeing that some of you are trying to message me. Hi to everyone who has. I will be doing a Q&A after this class. I'm not going to be answering any messages or responding to anyone, but I just did a quick nifty look, and you can show me as much love as you want. I will absolutely accept that with utter gratitude. But I will do a Q&A once this live is complete. But for now, I just want to focus on the makeup and show you. But I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying it. I really, really do. So do you see how we can still build and build and build? I'm still adding, and I'm still using what little I've got here. Look how little is left. You know? Take a little bit up on here. It's pretty. Okay, if I want to keep going, I can keep going. No problem, and maybe I will. Now, some of you are probably going to think, well, why are you putting blusher on when you haven't done your brows, you haven't done your eyes, you haven't done anything? And quite simply, what I'm doing is just kind of creating the structure of the skin, right? I am creating the canvas that everything then goes ahead and performs on, or against, shall we say. So for me, I like doing it this way because I'm using creams. Even for the eyes, I'm going to be using creams. So I don't have to worry about fallout. I don't have those concerns to think about. So by putting the structure and some pigment into the skin, when I'm doing my eye makeup, I have got something to compare it against, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to show you now how, using Essence palette, I'm going to mix it with a little 99% alcohol, actually, and I'm going to create a paint that I can make as translucent as I want, and then I'm going to fill my brows with it. And you can totally use Schmicks. I use it, I have done so, but I like making these really, really thin colour washes with isopropyl alcohol, 99%, 70% even. And the beauty of it is that once it flashes off and evaporates, of course, you've still got the product there, and it's still long wear and it lasts all day. And I've got to tell you that I can only accredit other makeup artists about 3 years ago when I, was it 3 years now? Gosh, maybe 4. They would write to me and they would say, we've been using long wear cream for our eyebrows and it's absolutely phenomenal. So I've been playing around with it ever since, and it works like a charm. So I am going to put a little bit of 99% in the lid. And this time I am going to take my classic 1A, my superfine angled liner, which is a beautiful brush. Now, you can use something, of course, like the fine detail brush. There is no reason why not. The difference with when you use a longer haired brush that is thinner and pointy rather than a broader that goes to a filbert point, which is what this detail is that you get a more organic line with the longer, narrower brush. If you want more of a defined brow, use the shorter brush and paint those strokes in. If you want it to look more made up, I want it to look as natural as possible. I'm going to be applying the paint that I create with alcohol with this brush, and then I'm going to take my little spoolie and I'm going to be blending it off and then going back in. And one more thing, I have found over the years that doing a multiple of colours, maybe 2 or 3, depending, gives you a really nice soft brow. I find that when it is monochromatic, it can look quite dead and quite formulaic. So if you want a really, really natural brow, it is definitely more believable when you have 2 or 3. And don't forget, of course, that, you know, when people are out in the sun, hair bleaches. If you're swimming in sea, hair bleaches. Think about how if you're blonde, your eyelashes and your eyebrows probably disappear in summer when you're on summer holiday. My hair as a child used to bleach blonde, even though I was a brunette. So it happens to everybody. So just think about how hair does change and how it is made up of many different colors, okay? So I've got this, I'm going to come up like this and see if I can show you this, okay? So I'm going to get some alcohol here, and I want quite a neutral brown. So I want to take a little bit of this, and I'm going to take a little bit of this. And it's really hardly any pigment at all. And if it dries off, who cares? Just add more alcohol to it. So I just want to mix a little bit of a colour. Has it all dried up? No, not quite. And keep it really, really thin. That is the art to doing a very natural brow, is that you keep it thin. So again, it's dried up. I'm just going to reactivate it, and then I'm going to first of all brush my brow into shape. And then really quickly paint. Made a bit of a splurge there. And you paint these little individual hairs. It's brilliant. And what's so wonderful about Classic 1A is that you're not trying to do it like this. You've got your arm down because the brush is bent, and so you get more control. Let's do this side so you can see. Literally just painting in little hairs. And because it's translucent, it's so subtle, and you can always just touch something if it goes wrong. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Makeup is an art. And art is organic and subjective. See? You can get really nice finish. Who'd have thought that you could do your brows with a cream makeup? All you have to use is your imagination, my friends. It really is that simple. I hardly ever use eye pencils anymore. I've reduced my kit so much, and it's so much lighter and so much more efficient as a result. Brushes last for years when they're quality. I just have a stack of brushes so that I can always have, look how good that looks. And then of course you're going to go in with the spoolie. I have a stack of brushes so every single person I have has their own set. I create personal sets for my clients. And if I'm on a film where I'm working with a number of actors, every single actor has their own kit. I never cross-pollinate, never have, never will. Look at that. Not bad, eh? Let me do the other side quickly so I don't look lopsided. And it's, look how little I've used. It's brilliant, isn't it? I hope you like this idea. I really do. I'm going to hold this one up this way. And then you're going to turn the brush like this. Look at that. Remember how difficult it is? Usually. Not with an angled brush, that's why I made them. Okay. I'm going to brush that through to blend it. I think that looks pretty good. You tell me, does this look okay? Or does it look like one eye going east and one eye going west? I don't know. But you see the technique, it's there. Okay, so those are the brows done. Now, what I want to do is put like more of a colour onto the actual lids of my eyes. And for that, I want to make like a pinky brown. So I'm again going to use some colours from Essence, and I'm going to use Schmicks, and I am going to use Vida, okay? And I'm going to, first of all, clean the back of my hand finally, and I'm going to do that with a little bit of cold cream cleanser, because that is the remover that I made to take this stuff off. So we're just going to rub it in, because it does stay on. I can't just wipe it off with a wet wipe. So I've got to use cold cream cleanser. Okay, I've got tissue and I'll wipe it off. There you go. Done. Okay, so now we have a clean palette again. Right, so where was I? Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a brow colour. So again, we're going to take Schmicks, and the brush I want to use, I think I want to use this one. Now this is my beautiful not my beautiful blender, this is my soft shadow blender, Classic 16. This is squirrel hair, and I want to take again a soft brown. Let's do this one this time. The color I'm using here is Bodhi. I'm using Bodhi from Essence palette. I'm going to pop it down there, and I am going to take, I think, a little bit of the raspberry, which is this one in Vida palette, mix it, and mix a nice soft sheer brown. Can you see that? Translucency is a beautiful thing. Okay, then my handy mirror. Back and forth, back and forth. Press. Take a little bit more. Back and forth, back and forth. That's simple. Go back, put another layer on. Does this look any good? What do you think? It's a pretty colour, I'll tell you. It's a really pretty colour. Let's just do a little bit more. Let's live dangerously. Okay. Put a little bit more on there. Now, I'm going to take the same colour with the same brush and just back and forth under the eyes, just to give the eyes a little bit of welly. Don't want them too dead. And if need be, place it. Pardon me. That's unnecessary. Okay, so we've got an eye colour. Moving on from an eye colour, it gets better and better. Let's wipe that off whilst it's still wet. So it's quite nice, isn't it? It's soft, right? You can always put a little bit more on. But I'm going to show you something that's really fun. Okay, so I'm going to take Brio palette. And with Brio, I'm going to take my Dainty Detail. I love this brush. And I might actually use that beautiful classic number 5 as well, because it's such a brilliant brush for painting. I'm going to take a little bit of Schmicks, back of my hand it again, like that. And this time, I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of smoky. So I love aubergines, so I'm going to take this colour here, pop it on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take some black, pop that on the back of my hand, and mix until I get a really nice kind of warm black. I don't even know if that's reading on camera, but it's very, very pretty. Do you see that? So it's not a true black, it's a soft black. I like soft. And then I'm going to take Dainty Detail, good old Dainty Detail, and go right into the lashes, right into the top here. And I tend to use circular. You see? I'm going to go back over that in a minute. Back in. Circular, circular. And when you're doing your circular, you're coming in, right? Because you want the graduation to be down onto your eye. So this way it's this way, this way it's this way. And it doesn't have to be flawless, you know? It has to be beautiful and organic. And then you can press a little bit more depth, getting right into the base of those lashes. Sorry. So you're going to press right into the base of the lashes. I'm going to take it down again. This is brilliant for wedding makeup, by the way, this technique, because you know, if you're living in places like the South, you're in New Orleans, you're in Georgia, you're in the Carolinas, you're in Texas, anywhere around there where it's really hot and humid and everybody's eye makeup runs down the creases of their little fine lines. Oh boy, you are going to be so glad that you discovered long wear cream. And we do make that black, jet black, in a refill. So you don't have to buy a whole palette if you don't want to. You can just buy the one refill. And it will serve a multitude of purposes. Let's just give you a little bit more there. Okay. Press, 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 press. And then in. Let me just push those lashes back. I think that looks okay. I can't really see. I've got the other side of my mirror block. Hang on a second. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, doesn't it? What do you think? Give it a bit more. Why not? Okay. Just a bit more up here. Not easy doing it with one mirror like this. But you get the idea, okay? Right. So you've got a smoky eye. Ta-da! Now, This is probably something you're not expecting that you can do. I'm going to wipe this off my hand whilst it's still wet, because Schmicks enables you to have more play time. So it inhibits the drying time for you, which is brilliant. This little brush is Classic 6A. It is the bent mini fan. And I am going to use it to apply it to my eyelashes to make like a mascara. So I'm going to take a little less Schmicks, but I'm going to take a tiny bit because I don't want it to be too much. Maybe just a little bit more. Right, a little bit of Schmicks. I'm going to take the black from Brio. I'm going to coat the brush in it. And I'm going to mix a nice little concoction to the density that I want it to be. And then I'm going to paint it on my eyelashes. Oop. And I'm going to fudge it on camera in front of everybody. I don't really care though, because look, I can just blend it in. It's beautiful. Right. Don't forget to get right to the base. Look how easy it is, guys. Look. Look how you can build it up. I bet none of you thought that you could use this for mascara. Just get that little blob off. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm making a mess. I don't usually do this. What are you doing to me? Hold on. Quickly. 1, 2, 3. Up and down. Okay. Let's carry on and not get so excited, Siân. I just love showing you new stuff. And then just curl your lashes with the back of the brush. See the difference? Let's do this side. Try not to make such a balls up of it, as my mother and father used to say. And yes, it can go on the waterline. I want to make a little bit more up. Load the brush up a bit more. There we have it. And then we'll do some on the bottom, which is a lot finer and a lot quicker. And of course you can always add more. Yep. Yeah, mascara. Okay, so we got that. We survived the mascara attack. Let me just clean all this black off my hand. Okay, bit smeared. Now, as you can see, I've got this very nice natural skin tone on my cheek. But now I think I might want to just pop it a tiny bit more, and that's why I do it in this order, because I can see it reading, but it still looks like completely nude skin right now, right? So there, we've got that. Let's go back, make a little bit more of a cheek that reads a little bit more, and this time I think I want to mix a bit of a tan with it. So I'm going to take Terracotta, which is this one. I'm going to take a little terracotta, pop it on the back of my hand, just a little bit, you don't need a lot, remember? And then I'm going to take, I think I want to take something like, yeah, I'm taking Lake, which is this red, just a tiny bit, just to give it, ooh, that's a beautiful color. Hold on, let me show you. That, it's lovely. Okay, let me pop it on. Be quick with this one, because you just want to. Now, another thing I do. I always put a little bit around the lips. Old trick. It looks like I've been snogging already and I haven't even done anything. Okay, so we've got the colour. It looks natural. Let's just activate it a little bit more with a little bit of schmicks and go on my forehead, because I think I want to bring that colour into play a bit more. Such a pretty colour. Okay, done. Done. Time for a lip. Now, this is the only time that I am going into my lip palette. I'm going to pick, I think I want a bright color today. So I am going to pick a color from my lovely Vida palette, which are all corals and Italian reds and pinks. It's very, very pretty. There's a black cherry there. Now, which one shall I pick? I think today I'm going to pick Schiaparelli, which is this. Okay? And I'm just going to take my Classic 6, okay, my baby concealer, which is great as a lip brush, especially if you've got fuller lips. I haven't, but it just makes it quicker for me. And I'm going to paint my lips. I always do this, rub them together first. Because you can get a little graduation. That's pretty natural. See how easy it is with this brush? And then bring it down a little, or not. Sometimes I want it actually up, but yeah, just get your finger and do that. And then go back in. Think What do you think? Looks pretty, right? So this is, I mean, I could use Vida to make a lip colour, but today I wanted to show you how the two combine. Another thing that we can do to finish off is to take our nudism palette, take our classic 10, and literally just to put a little bit more dewiness, I want to mix, this is nudism lipwear. I'm going to mix a little bit of Artemis with a little bit of Athena, because it's the goddess palette. And I want to give my skin a little bit more luster. So I'm going to just put my cheeks back on. Press, press, press. Yeah, a little bit more glow. And stipple it wherever you want, basically. There it is. Not too horrific, right? Not too horrific at all. Long wear is brilliant. I really hope that you guys get more of an idea about how subtly you can get skin to look, how you can build it up. If you want to do more contouring and shading and all of that stuff, you can do it. I can do that in another class. We can do a whole class on structure, it's not a problem. But I just want to enable you to see that you can really have a beautiful finish, that you still see complexion, you still see everything else, everything ties in color-wise, everything blends, everything looks real, everything has shine, and we didn't use powder. And if you needed to powder, don't bother, I've got you covered. We take a little bit of unshine, we'll just put a little bit on the tip of my nose so you can see. And you can get rid of all of that unsightly shine, if there is any, of course, in a jiffy. So we'll just pop a bit of unshine on. There's no need for powder. Powder is aging. We work in 4 and 8K. We don't have the luxury of retouching when we work in film or television. So far better that we have a product that will just completely knock it back and still give you a beautiful and natural finish. Yeah. Pop a bit up there. Great for bald heads. Any of you hairdressers, if you're watching, it's great for getting rid of glue shine. Prosthetics, great for getting rid of that edge. If your edge is looking a bit dodgy, we'll knock it away in a heartbeat. Just brush that brow. Okay. That's it, people. So I'm going to stop this live and then I will come back on. If you want to hang around, I will take questions and answers. And thank you so much for joining me. This was the first Facebook Live. It's taken me a while to set it up, putting up lights, figuring out what broadcasting software I want to use. I am in the process of editing a video that I shot yesterday, which will go on my YouTube channel. It is another nude skin, much like we have today, because of course Facebook Lives disappear. And there it is. I'm a busy bee. There's a lot coming with Siân Richards London. I have found this time of in the coronavirus very productive. I have not sat idly by, and I'm here for you. I'm here to help. I'm here to help you learn how to be a more diverse and stronger artist with my products. I have a multiple of things that you can do. So let's do it together. Okay, God bless, and peace, love, and makeup. I'll see you again. Oh, and now I've got to figure out how to turn this off. There it is.